This is a Gradowski of WeAreChange.org, somewhere in the jungles of Thailand. But I wanted to take this moment to update you on an important news story that I think everyone should be paying attention to instead of the other useless, mindless crap that the mainstream media uses to divide and conquer the American people. And that is the breaking story of how the FBI secrets were just released through The Intercept. Moments ago, we are finding out that the FBI secret rules were revealed from an 11-part investigation done by The Intercept when they were given thousands of secret documents from an FBI leaker. Someone within the FBI saw this information and passed it on to The Intercept, and they wrote an 11-part series that I strongly recommend you check out. The link to this story will be in the description below so you could see the full investigative piece done by The Intercept, which I have to say is definitely a pioneering journalism outlet that is doing the job that needs to be done in the day and age of clickbait sensational crap out there that all of us have to deal with. Now, what did this reveal? It revealed wide-ranging FBI powers from surveillance to journalists and their treatment of informants. It exposed their vast secret power that they have. Now, you would think a government institution that's financed by the people would at least be public with what they can and cannot do, but this was classified. This was secret. This was supposed to be something that you would never get to see. And now, because of real journalism, we're able to actually get an insight to how the FBI operates with our tax dollars representing the American people through their freaking name. Now, and I think the most damning parts that they revealed was their just outright targeting and spying of journalists. It also exposed how immigrants who were informants to them were deported when they were no longer of use, and other invasions of just surveillance on targets with no need of suspicion or wrongdoing. Now, I understand the FBI has a very difficult job, and sometimes they do good things breaking down pedophile rings, but other times when you have an institution that's not accountable, that the American people don't even know how they could operate outside of the law, outside of the due process of law, we have an institution that is ripe for corruption. Individuals are not perfect. There's some individuals that are crooked, and we have to understand this is the same FBI that sent a letter to Martin Luther King Jr. when they knew he was feeling suicidal from spying on him, sent him a letter saying, "Kill yourself, or else we're going to tell your wife on how you cheated on her." Now, of course, this was done in the 60s underneath the COINTELPRO program, but it needs to be understood that when you have such vast powers, you have a lot of responsibility, and when you have no oversight and no accountability, it could only lead to a recipe of disaster, especially with this agency being able to bypass normal procedures of going to courts and getting a subpoena for a search warrant. They didn't even have to do any of that for their invasions of privacies on people that they didn't even have to suspect that they were committing a crime. Now, I had one incident that I want to talk about that makes this story very personal to me, and that is I was previously interrogated by the FBI because I had a friend who went and said 9/11 was an inside job during karaoke. Someone didn't like that, called the FBI. The FBI detained me and my friend and decided to interrogate us for hours. Now, if you ask me, that was a dumb use of resources by our tax dollars over something that someone complained about that had nothing to do with safety or security, but someone espousing their political opinions that, of course, many people saw controversial at the time. But at the same time that I was being sat down and FBI resources were used against me and targeted against me, we had Anthony Weiner running around town sexting even freaking minors, soliciting underage girls to the point where he even accidentally tweeted a picture of his junk. That's how madly he was in his freaking sex craze. But yeah, sexual predators like Anthony Weiner get a pass. But now we're finally seeing that prosecutors may even charge him with child pornography, and he may face 15 years in jail for the crimes that he committed beforehand. Of course, we're going to be covering that story closely here on this YouTube channel, but I always wanted to reassure people there is a lot of divide and conquer happening, and it is sad seeing some people that were in the same media field as me playing into that and using the partisanship of left-right dynamics, only portraying on the right the favorable aspects of Donald Trump and not criticizing him and not holding him accountable. This is another recipe of disaster that we're facing because we're not going to be exposed to the truth truth through these supposed independent media outlets. We're being, again, manipulated on either side. And I think it's very important to call out the FBI, to call out whoever is president, whether it's Barack Obama or Donald Trump, on their actions and their misdoings, no matter what political leaning you are, because you're just baited and misinformed unless you call it exactly like you see it, which sadly, of course, many independent media outlets don't do now. But we do our best to have that here. And if you want to support that, go on patreon.com/we are changes and support this independent media outlet. If it resonated with you, the messages that we got across here today, share it with your friends. And of course, subscribe. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more coming here your way on youtube.com/we are change, even from some freaking jungle in Thailand. Why the hell not?